Hey guys, the time has come. It's time to have our annual Sweetitch chat. So I probably mentioned it in a couple of videos actually. I've been meaning to do this for a little while now, and the weather has not been in our favour. But we have a nice sunny day today, so I thought I'd get Mr. Blueberry out. I need to give him a good bath today, which is actually part of our Sweetitch routine, so I thought I may as well go ahead and show you guys that and just give you guys a little update on where we're at with our Sweetitch care. So it's kind of one of those things that's constantly evolving. I'm always researching it, I'm always looking for different ideas. And yeah, I just like to sort of check in about this time of year and remind everyone who has Sweetitch horses that if you haven't already started thinking about it, you really need to, because the sun is out, the bugs are out, it's begun, basically. Sweetitch season has started. And also, it's nice to just check in and share ideas. So if anybody has any information on Sweetitch, anything they found works really well, anything they're doing this year that might be a bit different, any products they found, go ahead and put it in the comment section. I really like to get input from other people on stuff like this. So if there's anything you find that works for you, I'm interested in knowing more about it, because I might not know about it yet. So go ahead and put it in the comment section if you've got any useful information on this subject whatsoever. And I'm going to go ahead and spew loads of information at you guys right now. So this is Mr. Blueberry. Yeah, as you can see, he has the itchies big time. It's just... So, starting at the beginning, we've not had a very good winter for Sweetitch ponies, to be fair. So normally by this time of the year, he's looking pretty good. I'm going to go ahead and whip this rug off, actually. So yeah, normally at this time of the year, just coming out of winter, coming into sort of spring weather, he's looking good. Like, he's got good hair, all of his sore bits are gone, and like, he usually just looks good. This year, however, as you'll see in a minute when I get his rug off, I can't do this one-handed, hang on, right. Let's whip that off of him. So this is actually the remains of last year's Sweetitch rug. He kind of trashed it. And this is the remains of a Snuggy Hood's Sweetitch hood. So I've kind of paired that up with what's left over of his rug, just to make sure we've got him covered. But he needs a new Sweetitch rug. It's on the list of things to buy. Just haven't bought one yet. There he is. There's the handsome fat beast. He's very fat at the moment because he's been out of work for the last month because he went lame. Whole other story. Not a story for today's video. Today's video is about Sweetitch. So, this winter has been horrendous. As you can see, yeah, we haven't really got much hair going on up here. There's a lot of product in this at the moment, which is why it looks so disgusting. But yeah, he is very much still bald. You see a few scabs he's got going on up here as well. Oh, his hair. So yeah, this winter has been rubbish for itchy horses because it's been so mild and it's been so wet. The insects haven't really gone away. I'm trying to think, we've had one frost this winter to my memory, and we had one snow day, well, half a snow day. It literally came and went within about 4 hours. It was ridiculous. So we haven't had that cold spell to kill off all the insects, and as a result, whenever we had those warmer days throughout the winter, the insects would just appear out of nowhere and start attacking him. So he hasn't really had a break this winter. Hence, he looks like this right now with this great big stinking bald patch. The rest of him isn't looking too bad. So with Blue, the places he gets worse, obviously his crest, he gets it really badly on his face. So we've got a few little scabs coming up on his face here, but I've been putting plenty of product on those and they are healing now. Like, they were quite bloody the other day, so that's looking a lot better. He quite often gets a load of scabbing under here, like in his armpit area. That always gets really sore. His belly always gets raw, really, really sore, which isn't looking too bad at the moment. Excuse the dirty diddler. I tried to clean it. He doesn't like having it cleaned. Next time the vet comes out, I'm going to get him sedated and get this drop it so I can do it properly, but you'll just have to overlook that. Just pretend it's not there. And yeah, the other places he gets problems are up here, oddly. He always gets a really bad patch up here. Down here always goes bald and scabby and sore. Tail hasn't been too bad the last couple of years. As you can see, he's actually got quite a nice tail. Don't want to jinx it, but his tail doesn't do too bad these days. Yeah, sorry mate, didn't mean to make you jump. So, sweet itch routine. First thing I will say to anybody who has a horse with sweet itch, okay, actually, yeah, let's go one step back first. What is sweet itch? So, true sweet itch is an allergic reaction to midge bites. That is what sweet itch actually is. So lots of horses get sweet itch type symptoms, but they don't necessarily have actual sweet itch. However, the ways that you manage sweet itch will also alleviate lots of other sort of summer bug-related itchy problems anyway. So, I mean, it doesn't really matter if your horse has true sweet itch or not, because like I said, the things we're going to be going through today are going to help anyway. Blue, we believe, has true sweet itch. So he gets the most horrendous scabs. He gets like a full body response to it. Nelly, she gets irritation to bug bites. So she always gets attacked in her dock and she gets attacked in her mane. And as a result, she will scratch those areas really badly and they will get sore. But she doesn't suffer from like random hair loss. She doesn't get the scabbing and the sores or anything like that. And it's not like a full-on body itch and irritation. Same with Woody. He gets bits, like he always gets bitten on his sheath area and he hates it and he gets really, really itchy. But he doesn't get like a full body response to it. Blue, he gets bitten and he gets a full body response. He will be dragging himself along anything he can get near. He'll drag himself along his walls, he'll drag himself along the floor if that's all that's there. And he gets these scabby areas that pop up all over his body. It doesn't matter if he's been bitten there or if he's been bitten somewhere else, it just sends his whole body into overdrive. So he is a proper sweet itch sufferer, this one. And you've been hard work, haven't you, darling? So the first thing I always say to people who have a horse with sweet itch or with similar symptoms is get a good sweet itch rug. That's always the first thing I say to people, get a good sweet itch rug. Not a fly rug. So fly rugs and sweet itch rugs are two very different things. I'm going to grab a fly rug out quickly just to show you the difference, because it is a big difference. So I've got my fly rug out, I've got my sweet itch rug out. I'm just going to show you guys the difference because it is important that you get a sweet itch rug, not a fly rug. So, fly rug, fairly typical, not very expensive fly rug. Like, I don't even know what brand it is, but you know, just a general fly rug really. And you can see it's very meshy, it's very summery, it's very cool feeling, it's quite thin and lightweight. And it's great for keeping flies off your horse. It does its job, but it's not going to stop insects from biting your horse is the problem. Like, it kind of creates like a little barrier so that it doesn't irritate them as much when the flies are on them, but they can still bite through this because it's holey. Like, it's really thin, it's really holey. So that's the fly rug. The sweet itch rug, however, is very thick. This is absolutely filthy, so you'll have to excuse, but this is very thick material. This is 2 to 3 times thicker than this. And this is really tightly woven, like really tightly woven. It's a very dense material. It's a very thick material. And that is going to prevent insects from biting the horse through the rug. The other difference with a sweet itch rug is that they tend to be a lot more generous with their coverage. So a proper sweet itch rug should have a neck. You want to have a neck cover. You want to have a big tail flap. That has got a massive tail flap on it. You want it to be long. You don't want your horse to be sporting a mini skirt. And they should have a belly flap as well. So you're looking for something that is going to give really thorough full body coverage. Now, some brands offer, so I'm trying to think, it's Snuggie Hoods, I think. They offer sweet itch rugs where you can have leg covers as well. You can get leg covers to go with it. You can get a sheath or an udder cover. They go the next mile. We use the big horse shop rugs because our horses are hard to fit and they fit our horses very well because they're designed for bigger horses. And also they are very, very sturdy. Our horses are good at trashing stuff, especially Blue when he gets in the middle of summer. So yeah, that's your difference between your fly rug and your sweet itch rug. Your fly rug is typically very lightweight, very flimsy, very summery material. Your sweet itch rug is heavy duty. It is designed to stop insects from biting your horse through the rug, and that is what you need. So the first thing you want to try and do is prevent the horse from getting bitten in the first place, because it's the bite that is then going to trigger that chain reaction that's going to give them that allergic response, that's going to send them into a frenzy of itching, that's then going to cause them to rip their hair out and destroy all your buildings. We want to avoid that if we can. So first piece of advice from me: get a good sweet itch rug, and get a good sweet itch rug. Like, this is somewhere where you don't want to cheap out. I am as guilty as anyone for cheaping out on stuff wherever I can. I've learned the hard way: don't cheap out on a sweet itch rug. Get a decent one. Like I said, the big horse shop works for us. Obviously not everyone's going to have chunky horses, so it might not be something that works for everyone. Snuggy Hoods do good sweet itch products. That is the only other brand that I can personally vouch for. This hood, which again is trashed and looking disgusting right now, this is a sweet itch hood. This is several years old. This is their sweet itch turnout hood. And again, it's very, very thick material. It's very heavy duty. I like their stuff. Don't cheap out on the sweet itch rug. So once you've got yourself a good sweet itch rug, you're going to need to be looking into care routines. So, what are you barking at? I think he's chasing rats up there. He's chasing rats on the bucket. So, skincare. This is always a bit of there's 100 different ways of doing it kind of thing. So I will go ahead and tell you guys what I have found to be useful for Blue. So the first thing I will usually recommend to people, well, always recommend to people if they're looking for a skincare product for sweet itch, is I will always recommend this stuff. It's called Kill Itch. It is a really, really good off-the-shelf, ready-to-use sweet itch solution. The idea is that you always have to give it a good shake. The idea is that you rub this into the horse's skin wherever they've got itchy problems, and I can genuinely say this really does work. Using it on him, who's the itchiest horse I've ever known, it seems to like instantly soothe the itch, and then within a few days of using it, so you have to use it every day, build up, you're wanting to use it like twice a day, sometimes 3 times a day, just to get the itchiness away from him. And then once he gets out of the habit of scratching because he's less itchy, then the skin gets a chance to start healing. Usually within a couple of weeks, you've got the hair growing back by using that stuff. Now, the only downside with that stuff is it is rather expensive. So that little bottle that I had there, I think it's a 500ml bottle. Yeah, so this is a 500ml bottle. Now, I did buy this last year. The prices may have changed between now and then, but that was £26.50. And I've never found a bottle this size for less than £20. I've found them more expensive than this. This one, I mean, I like to shop around to get the best deals, so this would have been one of the cheaper ones that I found. Now, that's not cheap. If you have a horse with minor sweet itch who doesn't get a lot of like scabby sore areas, then this is a really good idea for you. Equally, if you have more money than me, then fine, go for it. It's a really good product. But when you have a horse like Blue here, who in the heat of summer really needs his whole body covering, it's not financially viable. So I like to keep this stuff on my shelf. However, it's not my go-to product anymore for me personally, purely because it's not financially viable for me, which is a pity because it's really, really good. So what I've done is I've kind of done a little bit of research. Oh, boys are having a bromance. This is the part where Woody rips out the rest of Blue's hair. Hey ho, they're happy, it's fine. I can't really worry about it at this point, can I? He's got hardly any hair left. So I went a little bit rogue. I quite like doing DIY money-saving solutions. So what I've done is I've sought out what the active ingredients are in good sweet itch lotions. So there are hundreds of sweet itch lotions out there. I've tried a fair few. Being completely honest, the Kill Itch is the only one that we found got good results. There's other stuff that we've tried and it was a bit like, well, it made a little bit of a difference, but not that much of a difference, and certainly not enough of a difference to justify the money we were spending on the stuff. So really the Kill Itch was the only one that we stuck with once we found it. And the active ingredient in that, and actually the active ingredient, go away fly, in a lot of sweet itch lotions is this stuff. It's called benzyl benzoate. It's actually, I believe, is it a scabies treatment? I think they use it for treating mites and skin conditions and stuff like that. So this is the active ingredient. This is the magic ingredient that relieves the itch and helps the skin to recover. So I now buy this stuff neat and I make up my own solutions. So like I said, that 500ml bottle of Kill Itch cost me £26.50. This 1 litre bottle of benzyl benzoate cost me about £22. And I've just done a price check and the prices don't seem to have changed since the last time I bought it. I need to get a couple more bottles of this because we're coming into sweet itch season. So I was shopping around looking for the best prices. It doesn't seem to have changed in price. It's about 20 to £23 a bottle, depending on different sellers. So what I do is I make up my own solutions with this stuff. And I've actually experimented around with a few different types of solutions. But the basic idea is that you use, what is it? You use 3 parts of a carrier fluid of some description. They recommend vegetable oils here, but you can play around with stuff. To 1 part benzyl benzoate. And that is the recommendation for sweet itch treatment, which is actually written on this bottle because whatever company I got it from was clearly selling it with the intention of it being used for sweet itch. So you can see the instructions on there. Yeah, it's really easy to use. This is actually solidified at the moment because I've had it in my shed and it's very cool in there. So I need to leave this somewhere warm so it turns back into a liquid. It does do that. It does say on here that it freezes below 16 degrees. We're in England, so you know, you're lucky to see 16 degrees at this time of year. It's fine, I'll leave it out in the sun. I do have some solutions made up that I'm going to use for today. So that's kind of where I've landed with blue. I've played around over the last couple of years with different solutions. So originally I was putting this in pig oil. I was diluting it down in pig oil and using that to put on his skin, which works pretty well. I've also played around with different carrier oils. So I've used sweet almond oil because that is supposed to be very good for the skin. It's also relatively inexpensive. Excuse you, don't knock it off. Don't cause trouble. So I buy that in bulk, as I do with this. And another thing I do is I will put this in a bucket of warm water with a little bit of shampoo and a big glug of neem oil, and I will give him basically a slosh wash once or twice a week throughout peak season. And that seems to have been the turning point with our DIY approach to sweet itch. What are you doing behind me? Hey, no, I don't trust you. You're going to start lashing out with your back bloody legs. Go on, scram. Shoo. I don't trust those legs of yours, mister. So yeah, the slosh wash approach seems to have been a really good turning point for us. So, like I said, he gets affected all over his body really badly. And, you know, putting cream all over his body constantly, twice a day, every day, is a little bit tedious. There's a midge on your face. Look at that. We don't want that. No. So I came up with the slosh wash idea, and I will mix up a solution, put this in the bucket. I always use a little bit of soap with it just to help the oil and the water mix. And then I go ahead and put a big old glug of neem oil in it. Neem oil is fairly inexpensive. The reason I use neem oil is because it's very good for skin and hair health, and it's also a fantastic insect repellent. Insects hate this stuff. It really messes them up. It's very stinky is the only downside. I quite often will put a little bit of lavender or something in it as well, just to take the edge off the smell, but I have gotten used to it now, so it doesn't bother me so much. And yeah, I basically put that on him once or twice a week. I will just cover him from literally the tips of his ears down to the bottom of his belly. He just gets covered in this stuff. And then I leave it on him. I leave it on him for about 20 minutes, maybe longer. And then I give him a very, very light rinse. And that seems to really settle him. Like, that really seems to do the trick. Don't know if it'll work for other horses, but that is what I have found to be incredibly effective. And then by doing that, like I said, I'll do that once or twice a week, depending on how severe his itchiness is at the time. And then I will just put a little bit of solution, like on the really bad bits. Like, usually ends up being his face, his crest, and his tummy. I might have to do that maybe every other day around his weekly slosh wash baths. And that's kind of where I've landed with our sweet itch care. and it seems to be working pretty well for us. The reason he looks like this at the moment is because I haven't done it through the winter. Because it's been winter, like you don't want to be bathing your horse every couple of days in the middle of winter. And the problem, they're gonna have a fight in a minute, guys. Yeah, so yeah, I just haven't done it over the winter basically, which is why he looks like that. I need to get back into a routine. I have neglected him, bless him. I've neglected you, haven't I, Blueberry? Yes, I know, yes. So yeah, if you're working on a budget, I would definitely recommend looking into stuff like this. So I said it's benzyl benzoate. You can get stuff that's got instructions on it. I got this on eBay, so you can get stuff with instructions on it for use for sweet itch. And yeah, it really does seem to do the trick. So other than that, I mean, that's kind of the two big things for us, is like, it's your skincare and it's getting a decent rug. Yeah, the only other thing I would really say is be mindful about where you're putting your horse. So like turnout and things like that is what I mean. So obviously there's different times of the day when the insects are more active. If you can, avoid putting your horse out at the times of the day when you have the insects swarming. So it usually happens for an hour or so in the morning, and then you get another hour or so in the evening. Doesn't always work out. We can't always manage it, obviously, because of life and schedules and things like that. So sometimes he ends up out in the midges. In that case, I will just plaster him in fly spray, make sure he's rugged up to his ears, and hope for the best. Usually we get away with it. Sometimes he gets bitten and we suffer for it. Well, he suffers for it, and then our stables suffer for it because he scratches on them for days after. But yeah, it's worth being mindful. If you can, avoid turning them out when the insects are active. Nighttime turnout is really good for sweet itch sufferers because obviously there's no insects out, but then obviously as you get further and further into the summer, nighttime comes later and later, so it's difficult. It's a very fluid thing. You just have to kind of watch and monitor and adjust depending on the conditions, really. But yeah, that's kind of the two biggest things, really. As far as I'm aware, there's no like official treatment and or cure for sweet itch. It's just a case of like management and trying to keep on top of these things, which is what we've done for the last few years with him. I keep seeing these rumors of a sweet itch vaccine, but I don't know if that's officially a thing yet or not. If it is a thing, I don't know if it's successful. I couldn't tell you anything about that. If anybody knows anything about that, like if that is actually a thing, then tell me more in the comments. I'm curious. And yeah, that's about it, isn't it, Blueberry? Right, so he's had his bath. Oh, are you sad, darling? Oh, this is the routine now, isn't it? So you can actually see the scabby bit's a bit clearer now. So his whole face will go like that if we don't keep on top of it. And under here, try not to show his diddly widdler to the internet. I don't know if you guys are going to be able to see, but he's got like a whole row of like red scabby sore bits all down the centre of his belly. Yeah, he'll get like that all over if we're not careful. But his face, like I said, his face, his crest and his belly are always the worst bits. So I've given him a good bath, partly because he needed a bath, because I needed to get all of the old product off of him, because as I said, I've been putting it on him for a few weeks now and it had built up a bit. It is important to keep on top of that. So obviously you're dealing with a horse who's got itchy problems. You don't need to add to their itchy problems by them being covered in itchy, sticky products. So like I said, ideally, I think a once a week bath is a good idea with a sweet itch horse, or any horse really that you're putting products on frequently, just to keep on top of that. But normally he would probably have 2 baths a week in peak season. Like maybe once a week I would give him an actual shampoo, and then he'd have his slosh wash, and then the other bath would just be like literally a slosh wash, which is what I'm going to do now. So I mixed it all up ready. So it looks pretty disgusting, to be honest. It's because I've got the neem oil in there, and obviously oil and water doesn't like to mix. So that's the reason that I put the little bit of soap in there. Literally just enough soap to get the oil, the benzyl benzoate and the water to marry together. I'm not looking for it to be soapy per se. But yeah, I've got a bit of a scum thing going on top with my oil at the moment, which is lush. Probably means I put a little bit too much oil in there, to be fair. I think I was a bit heavy-handed with it, but that's fine. I'd actually like to put some more benzoate in it, but it's still mostly solid, so I can't get any more out of the bottle. As for quantities, I'm the worst person in the world to ask about quantities for things. I mean, I make up my solutions like I cook. It's like, squeeze of this, dollop of that, go with it, see if it works. If it doesn't, change it next time. It's kind of how I roll with this. But if you buy products that are sort of like intended for use within the equestrian community, even if you're buying like raw products like I get, they'll always have instructions on them, so just follow the instructions. So I'm going to go ahead and slosh that over him now, and then he's just going to have to stand there for a good 20 minutes, let it go into his skin, do its thing, and then he'll have a very, very light rinse, and then we'll chuck his rug back on, and then that's him done for the week. And then, in theory, in between, like between now and his next wash, we'll just need to put a little bit of product on his really, really itchy bits, but hopefully this will really settle him down. You just got to stand there for 20 minutes now, haven't you? Sorry, I got your hay a bit soggy, mate. You are a pain in the ass, aren't you, Blue? Oh, he gets more tolerant of this as the year goes on. You see what I mean there about why I can't give his willy a proper clean as well? He gets very kicky, very, very kicky. You gotta be firm and quick if you want to wash anything underneath his belly with this one. You really just gotta go for it and go fast and then run away. Oh, but he does get better as the year goes on. He kind of starts to like appreciate the fact that it makes him feel better, don't you? And you do enjoy your baths in the summer, but early in the season, you're not happy about it at all, are you? No, I know. It's not that bad, mate. It's not that bad. Is it? Eh? Happy boy? Good boy. Right, I'm probably going to leave you guys here, actually. That is our sweetest routine currently as it stands. Like I said, once or twice a week, and then apply lotion of choice in the days in between. Keep him well covered. Try not to let him out when the bugs are running rampant. Hey, don't need a fence. Blue, hey, stop being a diva. You're just sulking because you're wet, aren't you? And you didn't let me clean that side of your face very well. Look at the state of it. It's all grubby still. Honestly. So yeah, like I said, if anybody has any tips, advice, products, miracle cures, please tell me about them. I'm very curious to know. I do have other Sweetitch videos as well. I'm conscious of the fact that my brain isn't functioning great today and I've probably missed out on loads of information. But I have done other Sweetitch videos. If I remember when I'm editing this, I'll put links for them in the description or at the end of the video or something like that. I'll try and remember to link them. But I do have a playlist as well, which has got like more organized type informational videos, or attempts at informational videos anyway. We've done stuff on like Malanders as well, and like feather care, just random stuff really. So yeah, there's other information which I probably missed out of this video, which would be in those videos if you're interested to learn more. But yeah, fingers crossed this will get us through another year. I'm sure our routine will continue to evolve as it has done since we've had him, but so I think it's probably going to be a variation on a theme from here on out, to be honest, because the slosh wash thing does seem to be a game changer for us, because we can hit his whole body with this stuff in one go. He's not happy about it, but it does him good, and then he remains settled for a fair few days after, which is just what we need. You can actually see, now he's clean, just the amount of damage he's got to his mane still. So this did not look great at the end of last summer. And then it started to grow back, and then obviously we had our one pitiful freeze of the year. He's got like the world's saddest comb over. World's saddest comb over ever. Oh, Blueberry. You okay, my darling? Yeah, you got to stand there and let it soak in, haven't you? You know the drill. You know the drill, mate. Stand there and let it soak in. It'll make your itchies go away. And then we'll give you a quick rinse. Like literally just a quick spray over just to get any like excess product back off of him. And then, yeah, done. Job's good and for a week. Here, my darling. Boy, look at your dirty mustache. Look at your dirty mustache. This is how me and Blue do our bonding in the summer. He's not the cuddliest of horses, and he's not the most hands-on of horses. He's a lot better than he was when he came, but we do a lot of trauma bonding when it comes to Swedish routine. As you can see, he does try to take me out the first few goes. Like, those front legs are lethal. Absolutely lethal, aren't they? And your back legs are a bit dangerous as well, mate. And your head and your teeth and your ass. He keeps me on my toes, though. You keep me on my toes, don't you? Hey? Good boy. Good boy.